because I'm a big watch collector and there's so much fraud in that market. And if we had NFTs at the point of origin when they were minted, you would reduce the fraud by 90%.
That's dope.
I had an amazing conversation with a man who needs no introduction, but generally gets one anyways. I think everybody knows who Mr. Wonderful is from Shark Tank, Kevin O'Leary. But Kevin was once hugely dismissive of crypto. He went on TV, said he would never buy it, that Bitcoin was a joke, it was all going to zero. But strong opinions loosely held. He's one of the many people who finally dug in, did the work, and realized that this is an asset class of the future. Now he has 20% of his net worth in cryptocurrency or his investments, and believes that he could scale that up when regulators give him the opportunity. I'm excited, of course, to have had the chance to talk to Kevin O'Leary today. Listen, so last time we talked, and I believe now it's been publicly disclosed, you were up to 20% at Big Crypto. How do we get you to 50?
Well, that's if you look at portfolio management. If you're, let's say you're doing have $100 million, $100 billion sovereign fund, and I index for those guys, so I sort of know the rules of the road. You're allowed to invest up to 20% in any one sector and up to 5% in any one name within the sector. So if you like healthcare, you're overweight to 20%, but you can't go to 21. And that's how I run our operating company too. So I'm at max now on crypto, but also I believe that it's going to become the 12th sector of the economy at some point.
Absolutely.
So, it's going to take 10 years or whatever, but I look at it and say to myself, there's so much, it's all software innovation. Bitcoin's not a coin, it's software. So Ethereum and HBAR and all this stuff. So I look at it and say I should have a lot of bets. I'm very fortunate. I meet all these development teams all over the world, and I can invest in them privately. I just put a big whack of cash into Polygon. I love what he's doing, Sandeep and his crew. HBAR, I'm in there, Solana, Serum, Helium. I mean, I got 32 positions.
Yeah. So when you hit your 20%, does that mean now you have to start reshuffling because you can't allocate more?
Well, obviously the big daddies, my big positions are in Bitcoin, and I sell those up and down to 5% weightings. But I think that's just good portfolio management. I mean, I've done well, so I can't complain. But at this point, I really start to think about this as financial services productivity. So in a way, I'm doing a lot of private equity in it. When I invest in a private position in Polygon, it's a long-term investment, thinking that that's going to be a way to reduce gas fees on Ethereum, which I think it is. So for me, these are innovations that I think are worth investing in.
Yeah, I mean, I've talked to Sandeep at length. I'm also an investor in Polygon, and they just operate on a whole other level, right? And when you realize that none of these blockchains can operate at scale, when we start talking about 1 billion, 2 billion, 3 billion users, we're going to need all of this innovation to allow this to even function.
Well, I mean, that's where you start to make a bet on Solana, where you can get 100x, productivity there. Sam Bankman-Fried, I invested in FTX. I'm a paid spokesperson. I got to disclose that. I'm a big believer in centralized and decentralized wallets, and so I have investments in WonderFi. The Canadian regulator is allowing these companies to go public, so WonderFi is in Canada, Immutable Holdings in Canada, BitZero, another company that has the very first 100% sustainable Norwegian Bitcoining facility. That's a huge investment, and we're going to invest, the coin there stays on the balance sheet, and we're not using any carbon whatsoever. So these new innovations, to me, are interesting investments.
Right, but then there's, of course, the elephant in the room, always regulation, right, which you and I have talked about at length before, and we're seeing bills seemingly proposed daily this week. Stablecoin regulation, what's happening in the EU, of course, the executive order. You were just telling me before this about Haggerty's new proposed bill.
Yeah, I spoke to the senator last night. I read his bill prior to speaking with him. It was 2 pages. Simple, smart, pro-business. All it said was, look, the stablecoin transparency, that's what this bill is about. It's saying, look, let's make these assets stable in the sense that we'll make them audited every 30 days. We'll find out what the underlying is, no different than a money market fund. And he's saying, look, make sure that any of the duration assets that are being held as the offset are not longer than 12 months in length. So basically, that would allow me as an institutional investor to go to my compliance officer and say, look, this is regulated now. We know what the underlying is. I'm only allowed to treat it like an equity right now. I can't even own much of stable coins, but I'd like to use it for maybe 30, 40, 50% of the treasury. If I knew that it was regulated, and he sees that potential too, it's way past 100 billion, He's basically saying, here's a bill that's pro-business, that's 2 pages long, that would solve this problem for everybody. Let's pass this. One vertical of opportunity. Instead of trying to pass all crypto, let's just deal with stablecoin, which has been so controversial for the last 2 years. He's saying, let's shine the light of transparency on it. Let's call it what it is. You know, Schwab has a money market fund. Fidelity has a money market fund. Why can't there be 5 or 6 different stablecoins that are all approved by this bill, made legal, and let me invest? Look, I said, I back you, Senator, on this. This is a fantastic idea. Instead of taking off the whole world's problems, let's solve stablecoin.
And it's so easy to solve, as you said. And Senator Lummis and others have also had their proposals about it. I mean, it seems pretty obvious that they should just be backed by dollars and short-term bonds and call it a day.
Yeah,
I don't see why this is even controversial.
Lummis, I thought, did a great job inviting, while she authored the bill, private investors like myself and many others to address the concerns. And that bill has got a lot of innovation in it. It's huge. My guess is Lummis will chop it up into 3 or 4 different bills by the time she tables it. But she's pro-productivity. She's pro-innovation. She's pro-stabilizing this as an American innovation and regulating it so that the SEC and other regulators can provide some kind of guardrail for the rest of the market. And frankly, for all the excitement, here we are at the Bitcoin conference. Bitcoin is not even $1 trillion yet, which in the context of financial assets is a nothing burger. And it could be 50 times that size if we just allowed it to be allocated for sovereign wealth and allocated for pension plans, which they can't do yet. So we need policy. So Lummis might provide it, a combination of her bill and that's bipartisan. Her bill has, you can't believe that you can have a Democrat sitting beside a Republican working on something together. When's the last time that ever happened?
About literally anything.
Yeah. So, and yet they're willing to do that to, expand our opportunities in cryptocurrencies.
Right, but I wonder, we started stablecoins. It's going to be a much bigger challenge to get.
Yeah, and we haven't even talked about NFTs. I mean, are they securities? My argument would be if it has a utility to it, if it provides a distribution, it's probably a security.
Sure.
Let's regulate it that way. We have all the infrastructure, and then let that market grow. I personally want to use NFTs for authenticating watches, because I'm a big watch collector and there's so much fraud in that market. And if we had NFTs at the point of origin when they were minted, you would reduce the fraud by 90%.
Can you rate my watch?
That looks to me like a Rolex.
Yeah, it's a Steve McQueen Explorer from the 70s.
Yes, that's a very rare piece.
Just know if you'd like it.
Yeah, no, I really
You're
like
the guy.
it.
If I ever want me to show my watch to someone.
That's a beauty.
Got the box, the original receipts.
While we're comparing watches, I have to show you
I'm
this.
not going to win this.
No. Listen, you know the story of the Snoopy from Omega?
Yeah, of course.
2 years ago, this is an old Explorer, and it was here at the conference where somebody realized on the back that Snoopy goes to the moon. You're going to see him. This is the back dial.
Literally.
He actually gets on a rocket and he goes to the moon. And so that watch went up 4,000% in value because all the cryptonians wanted that piece because he's going to the moon. So I had to wear it today.
And I see you got the red band.
Yeah, well, they did that for me. Thank you, Omega, for the red band. I appreciate that. This lets me wear it on Shark Tank, which I'm going to do.
Oh.
I love this piece. I mean, that's a gorgeous
It'd be amazing if it's beautiful. It'd be amazing if people could see the back.
Well, that's
you need to broadcast it.
That's the secret. He's going to the moon and landing on the moon, and the whole thing kind of fits that whole optimism about Bitcoin to the moon, baby.
We're going.
And he's going there on the back of the watch.
Once the regulators get out of the way. Thank you so much, Kevin.
You got it.
Really
Great talking to you.
it.
Thanks.
Have you ever been trading crypto and during bouts of high volatility had your exchange go completely offline, or seen the order books go thin and have absolutely no liquidity for your trade? I know that you have. It's happened to every single crypto trader, but it's not an issue anymore thanks to Bullish. Bullish is a powerful new exchange for digital assets that offers deep liquidity, automated market making, and industry-leading security. Combining the innovations of DeFi with the regulated environment of traditional finance, Bullish empowers users to trade with confidence across variable market conditions while secure in a regulated environment that's backed by multi-billion-dollar liquidity contributions from the Bullish Treasury. Follow @Bullish on Twitter or visit bullish.com/Melker to learn more.